Recording in three, two, and one.
Homegirl is dressed in electrical tape. Once again, it has been requested goth and goth adjacent music with a Valley surprise. Thank you.
Oh crap, I didn't know we had a list.
What?
Oh well. Welcome to episode 224 of Nerdery Murdery.
Big 224. I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Jeffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the up and down, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. Crap, I did. I forgot to look to see if we had a list. So I'm not going to know anything about this. So I
Oh
get
my
to listen
God.
after the show. No, I didn't. I usually try to look beforehand, and this has been a rough week. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. This is releasing the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving.
For us, it's the Sunday after Labor Day, so you see how far in advance we record these.
Yeah.
So it has been a nightmare week at work. I've been so busy. I had the holiday off, but then 4 days of work was just rough. I even worked Friday night, Saturday morning, very early, Saturday night. I did a little bit of work this morning. I've still got a little bit of work to do today. So I apologize. I forgot. So don't ask me what I think about it because I may not know. So I'll listen later and hopefully I'll enjoy it. Um, I know we are way far in the future and it's past
Do,
time for
do,
this.
do you want to do a different episode to give you
Nah,
time to? Okay.
nah. We'll carry on.
Okay.
Um, uh, we're we're
Carry
we're
on.
we're way far in the future for this, but for our listeners, Mike and Brenda, Mike being with Two Geeks and a Microphone that we've had on the show many times, and Brenda's been on several times as well. As we record this episode, their anniversary is this week. We're late
Yay!
saying it on the show, but happy anniversary to you too,
Happy anniversary.
even though for you it's late that we're saying this. But anyway, um,
That'll be fine. They're gonna
uh,
listen and go, "Hey."
Yeah, I knew it was their anniversary next weekend. Mike and I, uh, quote unquote, watch the Cowboys together. We talk over Facebook Messenger through for every football game. We were both watching this week, and then they had the weather delay due to lightning, and both he and I went, "Yeah, I'm not staying up for this," and we went to bed. But nothing else happened after we left after we turned off our TVs. So
Where
it
were they
ended.
playing? They weren't playing here because they could just close the roof.
No, it was
Ah,
in Philly, and there was lightning strikes in the area, so they had to delay the game. They delayed it for almost an hour. The game didn't end till after midnight, so I had entirely too busy of a day the next day, and there was just no way I was staying up. But anyway, so happy anniversary to them. Late for us, but you know. Update on my book, Prime Numbers. It better be released by the time this episode is out. I tell you what, go to Amazon and check. We'll wait.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
As of this morning, as we record, the first physical copy is currently sitting with the United States Postal Service in York, Pennsylvania,
He's tracking it.
waiting to ship. Oh, I absolutely am. It'll be on its way to me. I should have it in a couple of days. If I approve the physical copy, then we will plan the actual release date. So as I have been speculating, I would very much assume at this point we will be releasing before the end of September. So when this show is out, it should be out. Fingers crossed. I just can't wait to get my hands on the physical copy. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. I can't tell you. I am currently hard at work on book number two, the sequel to Prime Numbers. Also, please don't forget to follow me on the Prime Numbers Facebook page. There are updates that I provide on there. Character profiles, the character profiles I've had fun with because I'm giving you more details into the characters that are actually in the book. So you kind of get some background on them, and there's some stuff in those character profiles that are very future facing that the items in the profile will come up in later books. So do check those out. I started off by focusing on our six main heroes. Currently, I've been putting out ancillary characters. The ancillary characters are all either ones that were created as we played various games, that they were NPCs, or ones I made up for the book, I'm doing profiles on them as well. So follow me on Prime Numbers on Facebook. It's going to be really cool. Zig is working on a book on his own. So that's still in progress. Give you more updates on that as it comes
Yeah,
out.
right now the working title is L4, but I think it's going to be a series, and I think the series title is going to be L4.
Cool.
It's a fantasy book.
Yeah.
It's adventure fantasy, popcorn books.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. You know, for me, this is a lifelong dream of becoming an author. I've literally wanted to do this since I was in the first grade. Um, and it's amazing that it's finally here. I cannot tell you how excited I am. So please, um, if it is out when this episode records, please do check it out. I hope that you get a copy. I hope you enjoy it. That was my main focus is I want to entertain, just like our show. I want to entertain, and that's the main impetus for it. Get my story out there. Um, so again, for us, it's September, and it is still fucking hot.
Oh, it's not
Uh,
up here. It's nice and cool now.
Today it is. We had a lot of rain late yesterday. So twice in 7 days, I've damn near passed out on the golf course. It has been so hot. Yesterday was one of those, and I got home just before the rain, jumped in the pool, and I'm so silly. I come home, literally, I strip off my golf clothes, go down to my skivvies, and jump in the pool. I don't even bother with a swimsuit. I just,
Just right in your underwear.
you know, hey,
And the shorts. It works.
I wear boxer briefs. It's okay. And yesterday I had my Trash Panda ones on because I'm a child. Um, I'm a child at heart. But yeah, I jumped in the pool, stayed in there, and then the thunder started booming, and so I was like, I guess it's time to get out. And man, it just shit stormed for probably about a good 15, 20 minutes, and then lifted. And we've got rain this morning, so we got kind of a cool front come in. But prior to this, I mean, yesterday when I was on the golf course, I think if I remember right, it was like 109, 110
Yeah,
outside, and it is September. Um,
yeah,
it's hard to breathe in that type of weather,
yeah.
you know.
Especially if there's any humidity, and unfortunately, in the last couple of years, we've had humidity with our heat.
Oh, we have nothing but humidity. I mean, we're on the we're on the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico.
Hmm.
By the way,
Yeah.
uh, sorry, I don't buy into the
Since
Gulf of America thing.
1550.
Yeah,
Since 1550.
yeah, I'm not on the Gulf of America page. I love America, I do, but it's the Gulf of Mexico. So
Yeah, it
anyway,
is.
bygone.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's cooler today. I'm hoping the rain is going to stop. I'd like to get out there for a little while and enjoy the weather, but man, I'm ready. I'm ready for this heat to go away. It is rough, rough, rough. So anyway, you got anything? Or you ready to step off into the nerdy side of the house with a list that
Kind
I
of
don't
want to
know?
talk. I kind of want to talk about goth music.
Go for it. I'm gonna look.
Goth.
I'm gonna look it up while we're
All
here.
right. All right. So the goth subculture of the 1980s drew inspiration from a variety of sources. Some of them were modern or contemporary. Some were much older. Among them, music subcultures that influenced it were punk, new wave, and glam. But it also drew inspiration from B movies, gothic literature, horror films, vampire cults, and traditional mythology. Among the mythologies that proved influential in goth were Celtic mythologies, Christian mythologies, Egyptian mythologies, and various traditions of paganism.
Hey, I know two songs on this list.
The very first song we're going to talk about, because I did give them crap, is Spectre, Love is Dead by Christian Death. Christian Death is an American rock band formed in Los Angeles County, California in 1979 by Roz Williams. With a major lineup change over the years, Christian Death has retained a relentless confrontational stand against organized religion and conventional morality. Roz Williams was eventually joined by guitarist Rick Agnew from the band The Adolescents, James McGurty on bass guitar, and George Bellinger on drums. This lineup was responsible for producing the band's best-known work, their 1982 debut studio album, Only Theater of Pain,
Hey, I'm going
which
to
was
pause real quick. Um, so Zig talks about quite often these music lists that they want to do is listen to the music as we talk about it. Well, this is funny because now I get to do that. I've gone on mute while you're talking and listening to Christian Death. So please continue.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, if you guys are watching this episode, the best way to do it is watch it on YouTube. And you go to the playlist, which has the episode in the bottom. Listen to the episode, pause it, go up to the top, and follow along. This is the way I listen to them because I do listen to us later on, mostly to catch my mistakes. Oh, I have a retraction. I'm going to stop doing the Christian Death thing. I'm going to give you a retraction. I said many moons ago that the supporting act for the Depeche Mode 101 concert that happened at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, that football stadium in Pasadena, um, the supporting act was Jesus and Mary Chain. That's not true. Jesus and Mary Chain was the supporting act in America for them. That night, the supporting act, because I just watched a documentary about Depeche Mode the other day, the supporting acts were OMD and Thomas Dolby, which means on that night you got Depeche Mode at the top of their game for the music for the masses period. You got OMD right off of their big hit, If You Leave, which they probably played. And then you got Thomas Dolby with She Blinded Me with Science. I would kill to be at that concert at this point. Kill to be at that concert at this point. Anyway, we're going to go back. Where were we? So, Roz Williams was joined by guitarist Rick Agnew, James McGearty on bass, and George Bellinger on drums. Uh, their 1982 debut studio album, Only Theater of Pain, which was highly influential in development and style of music known as death rock, as well as the American Gothic scene, which also produced bands such as Community FK and 45 Grave. Death Wish is an EP by Christian Death. It consists, or Death Rock, which is why we called them D-Rock. It consists of demo recordings by the band in 1981 prior to the release of Only Theater of Pain. This was not released until 1984 by French record label Les Invitations à Suicide. Death Wish was recorded in 1981 at Orange County Studios in California prior to the band signing to Frontier Records for Only Theater of Pain. Spectre was eventually released with subsequent pressings of this EP in the mid to late 1980s. So the song is Spectre, Love is Dead by Christian Death. I said I didn't care for Christian Death. That's actually not true. I do like this song.
I do
It's
too.
it's very moody.
It's also very Bowie,
Yeah, yeah,
very Bowie.
yeah.
This is really cool listening to this as you talk. This is kind of cool.
This is how I think everybody should do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Very, very, very Bowie. Very, very Bowie.
yeah. The next, so you like it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is like the only Christian Death song. I think there may be one more, but for the most part, they were a lot more style over substance. Especially after they released that album. I think the reason why I like this one is they recorded it before that album came out, so they were a lot less pretentious. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
that's most people's problem with Morrissey from the Smiths is he is one pretentious motherfucker.
Right.
I love his writing. I think he's great, but he's pretty fucking pretentious. And it's basically armor because he's a painfully shy human being. Um, his public persona is that of a kind of an asshole. I don't think he's actually an asshole because Johnny Marr and he are still friends. They still talk all the time. They will never work together again. Same with Billy Duffy. Billy Duffy loves him, but only when they're together and there are no lights or cameras on. I feel the same way. Roz Williams eventually passed away. I think from heroin. it's pretty tragic. But yeah, they've gone on. They're still touring and doing work. The lineup's changed pretty consistently, but they're still around. But again, this early stuff is really good. It's like the Misfits. I like the really early stuff, and after that, not so much. We do have one of those later songs in this list. The next song is "She Passed Away" by Catharsis. Um, this song is not in English, by the way. She Passed Away was formed in Bursa, Turkey in 2006, so this is a fairly modern group. They released their first EP, Kasvetili Kutlama, in 2010. I'm sorry I don't speak Turkish. This is probably terrible. Um, a collaboration of Dork, Supermatic, also Turkan. They released their first album, Belurdi Geese, in 2012 with Fabrica Records, the Athens-based recording company that has been working with other new darkwave acts such as Lebanon, Hanover. In 2015, bass guitarist Idris Akbul left the band and Doruk Erzkan, the producer of the band, joined as the keyboard player. It was released on the album Yarin Nalazilnik. It is pretty well known for the video. You should really check the video out. Um, Jeffrey's listening to it right now.
The
So the reason I
video,
want,
FYI, is creepy as fuck.
yeah, it is. Are you listening to it now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
So,
able to multitask. I can hear you and listen and watch all at the same time.
oh, nice. So I included this one because She Passed Away is one of those bands that's kind of like, man, you should talk about these guys. Again, not in English. It is in Turkish and Greek. But I don't speak either one of those languages. It's a shame because Kelsey grew up with a real good friend who's Turkish as well. And she comes over and she brings me Turkish delight. And I'm the only person she knows that likes it. So, like last time she came back, she brought me a giant box.
All right, please pause. What is Turkish delight? Because the only reason Brandon, I this shit, but anyway, I know Turkish delight from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
What
Um,
is it?
so you take it's basically okay. It's like nougat. You know what nougat is in a candy bar?
Yes,
Which
yes.
is like it's like a foam made from nuts and sugar. That
Okay,
is basically what Turkish delight is, only it is more substantial. There's
okay.
like more of a jelly consistency to it. So a lot of people don't like it because of the texture. I do not
Hmm.
mind the texture. It is not as sweet as nougat, but it's basically the same thing.
Mm.
So it's firmer and less sweet, more nutty, and that's why I like it because I I like I like tree nuts. I don't know if you can see this. This is a giant bag of pistachios with salt and pepper on them, sitting right next to me because I love pistachios, and they eat a lot of pistachios in Turkey. Um, Same with peanuts and walnuts and pecans. But that's basically what the stuff is. It's really tasty. They also toasted coconut too. There's a lot of toasted coconut on them. Uh, but again, if you're looking for something that's very, very sweet, this is not. It's not for you. I like it. I think it's really good. But if you like if you like tree nuts, you're gonna love Turkish delight because that's what it is. It's like sweetened tree nuts, only in softer. But yeah, so big shout out to Michelle. She listens. Thanks for the Turkish delight. You're the best kid. But this band is very European, but I mean there's a big movement in Turkey and Greece, which again they're right next to each other. They share a lot of common culture. Goth music is, or they call it darkwave, but darkwave is goth. It's the same thing. It's like death rock, darkwave, doom metal. It's all goth. I mean, you call it whatever you want, but it's all the same basic sounds. They look at the ancient stuff and the horror stuff, and they kind of get it all mixed in. What do you think about "She Passed Away" by Catharsis, or "Catharsis" by "She Passed Away"?
I like the song. This makes me think of She Wants Revenge, that
Uh
I
huh.
think absolutely belong in a goth list. I love She Wants Revenge. This song immediately made me think of them. The song itself is very good. I like it. The video is almost too creepy to watch. Not that it's scary, not that it's gory. It's unsettlingly creepy.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and this is one of the ones I would say, don't watch the video. Just listen to the song. The
Just
song
listen to
itself
the
is good.
song. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, you can always put them on in the car, you know.
I
You're not
mean,
necessarily watching the video, but you're
yeah,
hearing them.
because I mean, as I'm watching the video, I was just kind of like, whoa. I mean, it is unsettlingly creepy.
Get unsettlingly creepy.
Yes.
Nice. Do you
Uh,
like the song?
yeah. Oh no, I said that. I do like the song. Like I said, they remind me very, very much of She Wants Revenge. If you haven't listened to She Wants Revenge, definitely listen to them. They have a lot of good songs. This band very reminiscent of that. Good song. Just
Nice.
not the video, please.
Uh,
Not that the video's not good. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
It's well done.
it's just creepy
I
as fuck.
can't stress how creepy
It's
that
pretty fucking
video
creepy.
is. Yes.
I like this shit, and it's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's one of those ones. So again, when we talked about Goth before, you've got this. It's like a suspension bridge. You've got this tower, which is, yeah, we'll say this tower right here is atmosphere, mood music, mostly synthesizers, orchestral music, and you got the hard rock thing, and then where they're great is where they come in between. This is one of those bands. They're pretty atmospheric, but they kind of rock out too. It's what I like about them. But again, if you're looking for the lyrics, you're gonna have to get translations because they don't sing in English. I think there are a couple of words in English in there.
I don't think that's important
Yeah,
to have English words to appreciate music.
that's true.
You
99
know,
is
thank
Luftballons.
you. That's exactly what I was going for. Falco's original Rock Me Amadeus was all
Uh-huh.
in Austrian.
Yeah,
He has quite a bit of his music that is in Austrian. Um,
German. Southern German.
yes. Well, because he's from Austria.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah,
Um,
Tyrolean German or
I
whatever the hell
have
they call it.
a Frenchy German. I have a
No, that's the other side.
I have a music I listen to in my playlist, and it's all is it called Poison? I think it's by Vidalis. Bear with me one second. I'm so sorry. I'll
You're
find it
good.
here. My play Poison Lip by Vitalik.
Hmm.
It's French. It's entirely French, and it's club music from France, and it's really,
Nice.
really, really fucking cool. So being in English doesn't make it any better or worse. Like I said, I thought this one was just fine. Great pick. Love the music.
You liking this one? No.
Stay away from the video.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking creepy. Not gonna deny it. Um, the next one, okay. So I wanted to talk about goth music and where it came from and how we got there. I needed to go back and talk about this song. It's Digital by Joy Division. Um, you got the high bass, you got the droning guitar. There's a little bit of synthesizer in the background. Mostly it's guitar rock, so it's going to be towards this tower of the suspension bridge that is goth, darkwave, T-rock, whatever the hell you want to call it. This style of music. Joy Division were an English rock band formed in Salford in 1976, which is a neighborhood in Manchester. The group consisted of vocalist, guitarist, and lyricist Ian Curtis, guitarist and keyboardist Bernard Sumner, bassist Peter Hook, and Stephen Morris. Bernard Sumner, Peter Hook, and Stephen Morris went on to form New Order with Jillian Gilbert after Ian Curtis tragically ended his own life. Summer and Hook formed the band after attending a June 1976 Sex Pistols concert. While Joy Division's first recordings were heavily influenced by punk rock, they soon developed a sparse sound and style that made them one of the pioneer groups of the post-punk genre. Their self-released 1978 debut EP, An Ideal for Living, drew the attention of Manchester television personality Tony Wilson, who signed them to his independent label Factory Records, which we have talked about ad nauseum Their debut album, Unknown Pleasures, recorded with producer Martin Hannett, was released in 1979. Digital is a song by Joy Division, originally released on the 1978 double 7-inch EP titled A Factory Sample. It was later featured on the 1981 compilation album Still and the 1988 compilation album Substance and the 1997 box set Heart and Soul. It was recorded in the band's first session with Martin Hannett as producer. Recording took place at Cargo Studios in Rockdale, Lancashire. It was the last song ever performed by Joy Division, as it was the final song of the last gig recorded on the 2nd of May, 1980 at Birmingham University, just before the suicide of the band singer Ian Curtis. The entire concert was released as still and is notable for including one of the 3 known recordings of Ceremony that Joy Division did. So he actually recorded Joy Division actually recorded Ceremony before New Order did. I prefer Bernard Sumner's vocals, which I know is apocryphal for me to say, but in my mind, the ceremony that New Order did later on is stark and haunting because Ian Curtis is not there. There was more emotion behind it.
And we covered Ceremony in one of our episodes
Yeah.
too.
Yes, yes. But we're not talking about that. Right now we're talking about digital. And I would say that the New Order Substance and the Joy Division Substance that were released by Factory Records are 2 albums you should have in your collection. Uh, Honestly, if you can find the listing on cassette, it's actually better than the LP or the CDs. But cassettes degrade over time. So do CDs. LPs do too if you don't take care of them. If you take care of an LP, it'll last forever. Um, but yeah, what did you think about? You've heard digital before?
I've heard Digital before. It's not one of my favorites of Joy Division. I don't know Joy Division as much as I do New Order. I really, 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 really like New Order. Joy Division, there- I I sit in the New Order camp. I really prefer,
You sit in the New Order camp.
yes,
Well,
I
I
sit
mean,
in the
you
New Order
also
camp.
like you also are more fond of club music than post punk music too, and
Yes,
that totally makes sense because New Order was by and large fairly prolific in the club sounds,
right,
especially in Europe,
right.
Europe and Chicago and New York, and um, even though they still did guitar music, they were largely a electronics band.
Yeah. Digital's
Like
not a bad song.
mm-mm.
I'm just not a huge fan of it. But it's a good enough song. I
Yeah,
would give it a listen. And hey, the video for it is not creepy.
no, not at all.
It's just the word substance, Joy Division or Joy
Yeah,
Division substance on the
yeah,
screen.
they didn't make a video for it.
God, that that other,
There is some recordings of them on television playing it.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
that other one may haunt me for a while. That's just creepy.
that shit's creepy, man.
Ah, pressing on.
The next song is Moya by the Southern Death Cult. Southern Death Cult were a British post-punk gothic rock band formed in Bradford during the early 1980s. They are known primarily for having given their lead vocalist and part of the name to the multi-platinum hard rock band The Cult. Despite the similarities of the name, Southern Death Cult were distinct from Death Cult slash The Cult. The musical history of Southern Death Cult has been charted as far back as early 1979 in Bradford, Yorkshire, with the band Violation. Bassist Barry Jepson and drummer Hak Nawaz Aki Qureshi had formed the band with a guitarist known only as Mick. The band rehearsed for about 7 months and played their first show. The band played about 20 shows in total over the 18 months that they were together and recorded a set of 13 demos on a four track on January 3rd and 4th, 1981 at Bradford Community Studio. Southern Death Cult formed in 1981 with a lineup of vocalist Ian Astonbury, later on of Death Cult or The Cult, guitarist David Buzz Burrows, Jepson, and Aki. The group's name derived from an old term for southeastern ceremonial complex, a mound-building Native American culture, and the band was known for their use of Native American imagery, which Ian Astonbury still uses to this day. But it also served as a critique of the imbalance of power in the English North Side divide. The first Southern Death Cult show took place on October 28th of 1981 at Queen's Hall in Bradford. Death Cult toured heavily in the UK to promote the single, including slots opening for Theater of Hate and the Bauhaus at the end of 1982, but Astonbury disbanded the group after a show in Manchester in 1983. It is at this point that he had met up with Billy Duffy, who had just returned from London after the Nosebleeds broke up, and that's when they started Death Cult, which eventually became Cult. However, this song, Moya or slash Fatima, aka the Southern Death Cult 7 and 12-inch singles. That is what this is off of. To me, this is pretty fucking gothy, but it's a little less known because everybody knows them for the Cult, or Ian Astonbury for the Cult. Um, I kind of like the stuff that he was doing, but it's a little nichey. Having said that, I understand. It's a little more. It's like that later Christian Death stuff. It's a little more style over substance, but of the stuff that they were doing, this is my, I guess I could say, favorite. I am not crazy about the song, but I understand why I needed to put it in this list. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
What do you think about Moya by the Southern Death Cult?
I agree. Not crazy about the song. The intro went way too long because it goes over a full minute before it
Mm-hmm.
goes in, and and then even still, with the exception of the drum, you have that basic one guitar riff that's going on and on and on and
Yeah.
on and on, and it seems to go forever in this song. Overall, not a song for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that one.
Yeah. Well, that Goth, part of their thing is they all have good lead ups. There's a lot of good lead ups. The problem is if the musicianship is not where it's supposed to be, you don't enjoy them.
Hmm.
Like with
Hmm.
some of this stuff, it's like, my God, this is beautiful. You almost think it's going to be an instrumental, a minute or two in, but it's because they're trying to set a mood. Um, but if you don't have the musicianship, and Southern Death Cult didn't, Ian Astonbury's vocals are top notch on this, but the rest of the musicianship is not there. It's not where it needs to be a goth band. I can listen to Bauhaus go on or Love and Rockets go on doing, just weird music stuff forever.
Hmm.
I can do a 12-inch single of just them doing instrumentals with no vocals, and I am totally okay with that because they're good at what they do. This is not that case. The next one is Helena by the Misfits. Now, the Misfits disbanded in 1983, and Glenn Danzig went on to form Sam Hain and then Danzig. Sam Hain and Danzig are basically the same band, they just changed the name halfway through. Several albums of reissues of previously unreleased material were issued after the group's dissolution, again in 1983, and their music later became influential to punk rock, heavy metal, hard rock, and alternative rock, including high-profile acts such as Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Marilyn Manson, Green Day, The Offspring, NoFX, AFI, Avenged Sevenfold, My Chemical Romance, and Cradle of Filth. After a series of legal battles with Danzig, Jerry Only and Doyle regained the rights to record and perform as the Misfits. They formed a new version of the band in 1995 with singer Michael Graves and drummer Dr. Chud. The incarnation of the Misfits had more of a heavy metal sound and released the albums American Psycho and Famous Monsters in 1999 before dissolving in 2000. Jerry Only then took over lead vocals and recruited former Black Flag guitarist Des Cadena and former Ramones drummer Marky Ramone for a Misfits 25th anniversary tour. Famous Monsters is the fifth studio album by the Misfits. It was released on October 5th, 1999. It's the second post-Danzig era of the band, and the last album to feature Michael Graves, Dr. Chud, and Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein, who would quit the band in 2000 and 2001, respectively. Helena is based on the movie Boxing Helena, and it is a goth song. But as I said before, there is a crossover between punkabilly and goth music in our punkabilly episodes, cowpunk and punkabilly. This is where they cross over. Um, it's definitely got more of that punkabilly feel to it, much like Flesh for Lulu, and they're definitely on the heavier side, more doom metal. But that whole Monsters album, I just call it Monsters. I'm sorry, Famous Monsters. Uh, I really like it. Having said that, this is probably my least favorite song on that album. but it definitely has that goth feel, which is why I put it in. What did you think about Helena?
The, the first thing I have to mention is as I pulled up the, and by the way, we're about halfway through this right now. I have to say this may be how I do these episodes going forward. When you have a list, is listen as we go because, sorry, that's been really cool. I think listeners, I think you should do
Yeah,
this.
but the thing is, the problem with that is if you come across something like Still Corners, you're gonna want to go off on that tangent for a while, and you're not gonna be able to while we're recording. So, I'm
Sure, I can.
cautioning you about
Sure, I
that.
can. Sure, I can. Ain't nobody telling me how long an episode can be.
That's true. We could go hours if we need to.
Uh, yes. Matter of fact, in the very next episode, I will talk about exactly that. So anyway, Helena, the Misfits. As I pulled it up and I was looking at it, the first thing I thought was, "Wow, Kiss wannabe much?" As you look at them, just the picture. Um, I thought that this was a really cool song as it started. As it kicked in, I started thinking along the likes of Twisted Sister, the way that they were playing and singing and whatnot. Then the song switches gears and goes real serious into death metal.
Uh-huh.
That's when I kind of stopped liking this song. Not that I don't like death metal. We've had our episode on that. But this one I just didn't like when they switched gears. If they had stayed with how they started, I think this could have been a really, really good song.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the change over,
Yeah.
and that kind of made me dump out after that. So there you go.
Yeah, again, I love this album, but this is probably my least favorite, but it is definitely the doom metalist, and I wanted to show that in this list because again, this is the third episode for goth music. I didn't really get to showcase any of this stuff. This is like the odds and ends that I thought should be in there. Uh, the next one is Dissolve by Switchblade Symphony. Switchblade Symphony is probably the best group name in this list. I'm just gonna say, whether you, regardless of whether you like their music or not, Switchblade Symphony is a badass name for a band. Switchblade Symphony was an American gothic rock band from San Francisco, California. Their music combined orchestral sounds. So again, this is more of the mood music than the hard rock music, with heavy synth sequence and ethereal vocals to create a union of classical music and gothic rock. They formed in 1989 by composer Susan Wallace and vocalist Tina Root. The band's name refers to the cutting up elements of classical music to mix them with harder sounds. So basically, they cut different sounds with a switchblade. So it's a switchblade symphony. Okay, brilliant. The release of their first album in 1995 on Cleopatra Records label, they had two live guitarists. First, Robin Jacobs, who later joined Razor Skyline, and then George Earth, most recently of Small Halo, and also with Tina Root. And the three live drummers, Eric Gibo, now with the Blue Man Group, Justin Clayton, and then Scott Van Schoik. The band's second album, Bread and Jam for Francis, was released in 1997. The album peaked at number 119 on the CMJ Radio Top 200. Switchblade Symphony disbanded in November of 1999. Subsequently, Tina Root started Tree Lux in 2008. Tina Root and George Earth formed Small Halo in a band based out of Los Angeles, California. Their song Clown was featured in the 1998 film Wicked, starring Julia Stiles. Their song Gutter Glitter was also featured in an episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula. Dissolve was on the album Serpentine Gallery, which I believe was their last album. What did you think about Dissolve?
So let me go back to the Southern Death Cult for a
Mm-hmm,
minute. I talked about the Southern that the intro was too long and it was just the opening guitar and a drum that
mm-hmm,
was the same rhythm over and over and over and over for too long. Switchblade Symphony, this particular song, Dissolve, has a similar that its opening is quite long before it actually gets into singing,
mm-hmm.
because there is some voice that goes along in here. But what this one does that Moya didn't is as it going through its little intro, it changes tones and beat, and it's this is a really groovy song. I was just listening to this. I'm like, God, this is cool.
Isn't it fucking
I
cool? See, what we were saying. Yes, it should have a long intro, but you need to know what the fuck you're doing if you're gonna do that.
Sure, and this one absolutely showed that because, like I said, it goes through progressions, it goes through changes, then it goes through someone, and I don't know the term of what they're doing. They're not singing. They're what is she? It's not wailing. That's not the word I'm looking for.
It's mouth music. It's the same thing that the Cocteau twins
Thank you. It's just
do.
yeah, it's just mouth music. Before then it gets into the actual singing. Switchblade Symphony, and I'm sorry, I hate that I'm comparing bands to bands, but just to give you an idea, this particular song made me think of Sisters of Mercy. I really dug this song. I like this one a lot. Good choice.
Thanks. Is this gonna go? Is some of this stuff gonna go in your playlist?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to check out some more Switchblade Symphony if you like it. And what's really weird is in the other list, they were doing a similar thing to the Serpent's Egg band,
Hmm.
but they're a little better at it. Does that make sense? They're a
Hmm.
little less pretentiousy about it, so it sounds better. And they were also Switchblade Symphony was underground as fuck. Um, Again, they've used them in a few things, but it's usually it's the background music that they use, so you may not necessarily recognize it. Good band. The next song. Um, oh, and I also want to give a big shout out to, since we're talking about it, Prickly Pineapple Creations, uh, Red, Painted Lady, uh, and Cass. Uh, Again, I only want to give their handles out, um, because these are people I used to, chill out to this music with, and suggestions. Hey, you know what you forgot? You know what I forgot? Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus. That's the next song on the list. So, Diane Lucky, December 12th, 1960 to July 19th, 2022. Unfortunately, she passed away just a few years ago. Professionally known as Q Lazarus, was an American singer. She is best known for her 1988 song Goodbye Horses, which became a cult classic after being prominently featured in the scene from Jonathan Demme's 1991 film Silence of the Lambs, or as I like to call it, The Quiet and Unobtrusive Sheep. Several of her songs were featured in other films directed by Demme before she disappeared from the public eye in the mid 1990s. Diane Lucky was born in 1960 in Neptune Township, New Jersey, the youngest of seven children. While attending the Mount Pisgah Baptist Church in Neptune as a child, she sang in the Mount Pisgah Youth Choir. She graduated from Neptune High School and, inspired by a production of Bubbling Brown Sugar on Broadway, moved to New York City at the age of 18 to pursue a career in music. So this would have been 1978. 1979, depending on when she moved. After moving to New York in the late 70s, Lucky soon started working as backup singers for jingle writers, Stigma Sound Studios. And in the 1980s, Lucky worked as a taxi driver in New York City to make a living. During this time, she adopted the stage name Q Lazarus and began making music with her band Q Lazarus and the Resurrection. The name Q comes from Quiana, which means thank you, and Lazarus comes from the Bible, whom Jesus raised from the dead. The band consisted of Lazarus, William Garvey, and backup singers Gloria Galicia and Janice Bernstein. According to Galicia, by 1985, Lazarus was working in Chelsea as a live-in housekeeper and an au pair for an English businessman named Swan, and the band would record vocal harmonies on cassette at Swan's house. Lazarus also had a number of other day jobs at the time. Lazarus was repeatedly turned away by record companies who insisted they could not make her because of her image. After picking up filmmaker Jonathan Demme in her taxi during a blizzard and asked him if he was in the music business, she played him some of her demo tapes, to which he replied, "Why is this and who are you?" Her song Candle Goes Away, when they included it in Demme's 1986 film Something Wild. And in 1987, Lazarus and her good friend William Garvey recorded the song Goodbye Horses. in his apartment. So that song that you hear was recorded on a home studio 4 track in an apartment. The following year, thanks to Q's faithful meeting with Demi, the song was included in Demi's film Married to the Mob. It later became a cult hit following its inclusion as scene from Demi's 1991 film The Silence of the Lamb, featuring the film's antagonist serial Buffalo Bill. Goodbye Horses was recorded by Q Lazarus and William Garvey. It was released in 1988. It is a synth pop, dark wave, and new wave song with lyrics based on transcendence over those who see the world as only earthly and finite, and androgynous vocals from Q Lazarus. After Q Lazarus played a demo tape for Jonathan Demme while there was a blizzard, he was stuck in her cab. She popped the tape in, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" So, what do you think about Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus?
This is another one that I knew. I've of course seen Silence of the Lambs and been for a long time, but honestly, to me, when I hear this song, all I can think about is Jay of Jay and Silent Bob putting chapstick on his lips right in the camera, saying, "Do you want to fuck me? Do
Do you
you
want
want
to
to
fuck me?
fuck?"
I'd fuck me.
Sorry, that's what I think of when I hear this song because of because that was from Clerks Two, Clerks Two,
Yeah.
when he did that.
Mm-hmm.
But Goodbye
And
Horses.
when the first line of the song plays, he goes, "Ooh,
Yeah. Oh,
ooh."
go look for the video of that. Put the
Yeah.
video of that in our
Goodbye,
playlist.
horses.
Because I know the clip is out there on YouTube. Go find the clip of that and put that with this list because it belongs there. Goodbye Horses is a great song. I love this song. I love everything about this song. It's just really, really cool. Cool.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Yes, me too. It's a great tune, and it is very goth. But again, it's that mood music. I would say "Goodbye Horse" is a good smushing tune too, just because of the
Probably.
beat. Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, just because of the beat. It's a lot of fun. You know, it plays a lot in the background of BDSM scenes too, from what I understand. Actually, most of this music does. Again, kids, goth music can be your friend in certain situations. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. The next song is "Torturous" by Nosferatu. Nosferatu,
Did
they're
we
an
have
English.
Nosferatu in the last list?
I
The
don't
last
think we
goth
put
list? Okay.
Nosferatu in. You
Okay.
know what? I did not include on any of these lists Fields of Nephilim.
Okay. All
I
right.
did not include Fields of Nephilim, and they've been a goth band for years. They're more the guitar rock side. I don't know where to put them. So
Okay. So here's for me. Do a part four. I
okay,
don't care. I
we'll
like
do
this
it.
shit.
We I am going to be. I took this week off so I can write a whole bunch of episodes. I'll do a goth part 4
Sure.
with Fields of Nephilim. I'm
I
gonna have
hope
to
our
find some
listeners
other
appreciate
shit.
that because you're honestly doing it as service to me because I
No,
like
no, no,
one
no,
and
no,
two
no.
so much.
Because I sent these lists, even though they haven't heard the episodes. I sent these lists to other people who are into this music, and they're like, "Sent some shit there, buddy." Because again, my thing is about the breadth of nerdery, not the depth, and I have been that way my whole life. So I'll get into goth, yeah, groovy, but then I'll get into something else over here. It's not that I have gone away from that, but I'm more interested in the the breadth of it because
Hmm.
there's so much you can get into. And it's okay if you're not the world's expert in goth music, because you know what? You will meet someone who is. And I know 4 or 5 people who are die-hard fans and have been for 30 plus years. So, Torturous by Nosferatu. Sorry, I derailed my own thought there. Nosferatu are an English second wave goth rock band, and as of 2025, the members are Damien DeVille, Tim Vick, Old Bones, and Smithy. We may have talked about Nosferatu. Smithy sounds familiar. Nosferatu were formed in March of 1988 by guitarist Damien DeVille, bassist Vlad Janik, and vocalist Sapphire Aurora. In 1990, they debuted with the track Bloodlust on a compilation album. Ex-Grenadier Guard Gary Clark, the Cureheads, he's in a band called the Cureheads, took over from Sapphire in front of the band for the first UK tour, opening for Every New Deal Ghost. Clark left in late 1990 and started the Cureheads. In 1991, they recorded the Hellhound EP with vocalist Louis DeRay replacing Clark, and in 1992, Dave Roberts of the Gothic group Sex Gang Children wanted Nosferatu to release a compilation of their singles so far under the Cleopatra record label. Cleopatra Records does a lot of goth music, just like 4AD does. I want to say Cleopatra actually releases under 4AD. Um, Niall Murphy replaced DeRay on vocals for all the Halloween shows. In 1994, Nosferatu released a compilation of early recordings called Legend, and their second studio album, The Prophecy. Um, Lord of the Flies is the fourth full-length studio album. It was released in 1998 by Cleopatra Records. But we're talking about Torturous. What did you think about Torturous?
Um, this is Fortress is a really, really, really good song. What I appreciate of Fortress is it the song. It's not very long. It's only 4.5 minute song.
Which is
It
weird for goth because usually it's long.
Yeah, it it seems to change its progression and tone throughout the song.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you're
Like
getting
they're
to
changing
one,
the time signature too.
yes,
That's
yeah,
fucking weird,
I
right?
know it's very weird, but it's really cool. That was a great song to listen
Al-
to.
Almost like it's a demo.
Kind of,
Yeah, and
kind of.
again, these guys are fairly underground. On Cleopatra Records, you can probably get them through 4AD. Who did they release through? Cleopatra Records in the U.S. and Canada, and Hades Records in the UK, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So they don't release a lot. I think this particular record sold 5,000 copies originally. Um, but yeah, that's one of those. Or one of those bands that's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely part of the thing. And again, so is Fields of Nephilim, but I could not find any good Fields of Nephilim that fits in this list. So I guess I'm doing a fourth list that I'll open with Fields of Nephilim. The next band is also from the Valley. Twin Tribes, known as, and the song is Monolith. They're an American darkwave band formed in 2017 in Brownsville, Texas. After years of touring and 3 albums, the band has become one of the referents of new gothic rock and darkwave styles. The group consists of duo Luis Navarro, guitarist, lead vocal, synth, and drum machine, and Yoel Nino Jr., bass, synth, backing vocals, or Joel. Actually, it would be Joel. Uh, Navarro was born in Matamoros, Mexico, and Nino is from Los Fresnos in Texas. Both artists met in
Okay, kids,
Brownsville.
just for your interest, Matamoros is down by Brownsville. That's where the crossing is to
Uh-huh.
Matamoros is down by Brown. You do not go to Matamoros as an American. It is a
Nope.
dangerous city.
Mm-hmm.
The other crossing is Progreso Nuevo, which is closer to Los Fresnos. No,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. No, no, that's not right. Los Fresnos is out by Padre Island. I'm so sorry. I was
Yeah.
mixing directions. Los Fresnos is out by Padre Island. Progreso Nuevo is where you cross. It's cartel run. It's very safe to go across. We've talked about this before. But anyway, just
Yes.
giving you kind of a visual of the area.
Thanks, because I don't know.
Yeah. I happen to know it well.
The band gathers their influences for music of the 1980s, specifically goth rock and post-punk genres with elements of synth pop and new wave, including, but not limited to, The Cure, Depeche Mode, uh, and Latin American bands like Cafanas, Soda Stereo, and Size. They also mention influences from rock en español, and the heavy use of synthesizers. They have a Roland JX3P and a Korg Poly 800, which is, those are not new, baby. They're not like a Roland D50, but you know, they'll use electric guitars and bass guitars and their own vocals. Usually they run those guitars through the synthesizers and from the synthesizers to the speakers or amplifiers. Twin Tribes has published 3 studio albums and 1 remix album: Shadows in 2018, Ceremony in 2019, and Altars in 2021, which is a remix album. And they released Pendulum in 2024. In 2023, they released 2 singles, Monolith and Cauldron of Thorns. So this is from 2023. Um, and I think they put it on Pendulum as well. It was very well received. They have artistic video productions for the song Monolith, directed by Sultan Mars, starring dancer Nastia Gail Yavorsky. The announcement of Pendulum was accompanied by the dates of the tour with dozens of concerts in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Their single Phantasmus received over 1 million views on YouTube night after its release and before the band was able to publish the official video. Monolith is on that Pendulum album. What did you think about Monolith?
So
And they still
Twin
play in the area down there. So
Twin Tribes, like uh she passed away. No, Catharsis. I guess Catharsis is the name of the band.
no,
Is
She
that
Passed
right?
Away is the name of the band.
She Passed Away is the name of the band. Twin Tribes, very much like She Passed Away in that they're very they remind me a lot of She Wants Revenge. Um which is again why I say I think you need a She Wants Revenge song in your next list of this because I think they were very representative of the goth sound. But this song, Twin Tribes, first let me say this about this song. The song is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal. Love this song. Putting it in my list. Goes in immediately. On the other side, the
I,
video for this one, what you were going to say?
I was gonna say this is actually worse than the other one.
Well, okay. I'm going to disagree with you there. This this video is unnerving, not really creepy. The part that she passed away, that was creepy. This one is a little unnerving, a little it's unsettling. Uh, there's some creep factor in it, sure. But this one is very unnerving. I love the call out to 2001 Space Odyssey with the monolith.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but here's why I like this. Here's why I like this video more than I like the other one. I've talked about it before in the past. There are two instances that I can think of right off the top of my head. If you want to see what going insane looks like, you watch the Twin Peaks episode that has that segment. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Episode 8.
episode 8, that segment where everything is
Drink
just
deep
going to
and
shit.
descend.
And then Millennium, the episode where his partner slips into insanity. Those two very representative. That's what this made me think of. This made me think of this woman is is slipping into insanity throughout the video, and it's unsettling, but it's beautiful and it's brilliant. Great video, great song choice.
Monolith.
Yep,
Liked Monolith. Okay.
yep.
The
Watch
final
that
song.
video. Don't
Yeah.
want catharsis.
The final song on our list today. Because again, there's a song I missed, and it is Disintegration by The Cure. Um, Disintegration is the eighth studio album by English rock band The Cure, released on May 2nd, 1989 by Fiction Records. The band recorded the album at Hook In Recording Studios in Checkenden, Oxfordshire, and co-produced David M. Allen from late 1988 to early 1989. The album marked the return of the introspective goth rock style the band had established in the early 80s. As he neared the age of 30, vocalist and guitarist Robert Smith had felt an increasing pressure to follow up on the band's pop success with a more enduring work. This, coupled with a distaste for the group's newfound popularity, caused Smith to lapse back into the use of hallucinogenic drugs, the effects of which had a strong influence on the production of the album. Following the completion of the mixing, founding member Lawrence Tolhurst, or Lol Tolhurst, was fired from the band. Disintegration became the band's highest charting album up to that point, reaching number 3 on the UK album charts and number 12 on the US Billboard 200, and produced several hit singles, including Love Songs, which peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It remained the band's highest selling record to date, with more than 4 million copies sold worldwide. It was greeted with a warm critical reception before later being widely acclaimed, including being placed at number 116 in Rolling Stones magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Steve Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic called it the culmination of all the musical directions The Cure was pursuing over the course of the 1980s. This is the title track, Disintegration. Let me tell you something. Love Song was the big hit, so was Fascination Street. Both of those songs are incredible. Uh, the two best songs on this album are the title track, Disintegration, and Plain Songs. And I will fight anybody who argues with me with fists. I know that's a bold statement, but Disintegration, um, there's a progression of the song. And again, it is more guitar-y than mood, but the guitars make the mood. Where those two fucking suspension bridges meet in the middle, that is where this fucking song sits. With big, golden, shining light coming out of it. Songs about happiness. Crocodiles cry from the roof of your mouth to the mouth of your eye to the eye of the needle. He just goes the fuck off in the middle of the song, and it is amazing. And honestly, again, I've said it many times. I'm not crazy about the way he's not a good singer. I like the way he sings. He actually sounds good in this song, and it's not because of the recording. It's the cadence that he picked to sing this song in. It's almost like he's fighting to get the words out, so they all have to come out in a string. Um, the song is amazing, and again, and it's long. This is a long one, but it is definitely a goth tune. This is their this is the one everybody holds up and says this is their great goth record. I would disagree. I would actually say that when they were trying to do a goth record, Pornography was it. This they just wanted to be more introspective, and it came off as a goth record. But having said that, Disintegration, the album and the song are masterpieces, and it's what he will be. When they bury him, they may put the lyrics to Disintegration on his tombstone. You know
Oh,
what I mean? That's how enduring this fucking song is. What did you think about Disintegration?
well, I mean, I've known Disintegration a very long time. I've known The Cure a very long time. The Cure is great, and it's interesting that you said that he's not a very good singer because I'd never thought about that until you said that, and I'm like, no, he's really not.
No, he's not.
So his voice is interesting because as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you said that, that's when it hit me. He sings off key,
Yeah, he's off
but
key.
but it
Or he's
works.
flat. He's flat.
Well, that's still off key. Um, but it works. And it
Mm-hmm.
never hit me until you said that. And I'm now fascinated by that, thinking about just how off key he is when he sings. But The Cure's music is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Cure and Disintegration. I agree. Disintegration is a masterful song. It's a beautiful song, brilliant song. Um, Never would have thought this was goth until we got into these episodes, and now I'm seeing it more now that I understand this genre better. Had like again, as I said back when we did the first two episodes, had you prefaced these episodes by saying, "Oh, we're going to do Darkwave," I'd immediately known what you were talking about. I didn't realize that was goth
Yeah.
because I had this preconceived notion about what goth was, and the music that you've been portraying just wasn't my perceived notion. It's been some great songs, which is why I asked for a part four. We've never done a part four, and again, we're doing a lot of fan service to me here. Um,
That's okay. All these songs are fucking bangers, man.
and they are. It's great music, and I mean, if you like First Wave on Sirius on Sunday night, for I don't know 3 4 hours they do Dark Wave. Instead of First Wave, they do Dark Wave, and it's going to be all this kind of stuff. And I used to
Yeah.
listen to Dark Wave all the time.
Darkwave, D-Rock, goth music, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
really is.
I would put on Dark Wave as I was going to sleep on Sunday nights when I was still a bachelor, and I thoroughly enjoyed Dark Wave. I love it. But The Cure is brilliant. The Cure has a lot of brilliant songs. But this Disintegration is absolutely the cream of the crop. If you listen to one Cure song and one Cure song only, make it Disintegration.
And again, I'm not saying that Love Song or Fascination Street or Pictures of You, which are also on that album, are
Hmm.
bad songs.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, compared to this, it's like shooting a bullet and throwing it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, this is a masterpiece, and it is, oh my God. From the music to the vocals, and again, as he said, he sings off key, and he's always sung off key, but he didn't want to be the lyricist, or he didn't want to be the singer, but he was the songwriter, and they couldn't get a singer to sing them properly, so he just started doing it. And he hates his voice. He thinks it's flat and off key, but it's as close as he can get to how he wants that song to sound, and he can't explain it to anybody else to sing his stuff. What I would really like is to know what it sounds like in his head.
Well, and the funny thing is, because you've talked about it, I think one of the most brilliant things about The Cure is the fact that I never really, granted, I heard it, but I never really thought about the fact that he was off key.
Yeah.
It never struck me that he was off key, even though as I look at it now, I'm like, oh my God, I've always known this.
Uh-huh.
That's what makes, I think, what makes their music so amazing is when you listen to them, you're really not thinking about the fact that he's off key. You're thinking
Mm-mm.
about how great the song is.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a multi-instrumentalist like Prince, and you don't think about it. It's like, well, Robert Smith's been part of the band forever. It must be hard to work with him because people, there have been so many changes. Dude, yeah, because the band's been going on since middle school. Robert Smith started this band with Lawrence Tolhurst in middle school. And it's like, well, there's a lot of, but yeah, people usually stay in the Cure for like 10 years. The band he's got now that's playing, most of them have been in 10 plus years. Roger O'Donnell replaced Lawrence Tolhurst at the end of the recording for this album, and he's still with the band. And the album was released in 1989. So, yeah, there's not really that many lineup changes. The problem is he needs good musicians. And if you're not in it to win it, you're not gonna stay around. Not necessarily fired, but you're going to get some pressure because he needs good musicians. Although the tour that they're on now will probably be their last because he's ready to retire. He may end up still doing some songwriting, but you know, maybe he finally found the vocalist that sounds like it sounds in his head. And I would love to hear that. But that's about it for Goth Part 3 with a special Valley uh, Valley Band edition.
So cool. Overall, a great list. There's only a couple songs in there that I'm just kind of meh on, or didn't like. Most of them I really really like and would put them in my list. Again, those two videos I talked about, watch those, Monolith and dadgummit, the other one. What's the other one? The other video that was so creepy.
Oh, Catharsis,
Catharsis.
which is
Thank you.
catharsis in Turkish.
Yes, yes. Versus just don't watch the video. I'm sorry. Just don't. If you're just morbidly curious, go ahead. Like I said, it's not gross, it's not horrifying, it's not
Yeah.
graphic, it's just highly disturbing. Monolith is brilliantly unsettling. Uh so as you listen to the list, and having now done this for the first time, I so 100% agree with Zig. As you listen to the episode, either pause and listen to the song and then listen to add to what Zig has to say about it, or watch it as you go along. That was an amazing way to do this. I'm gonna do this again.
That's the, that's
That
the
was
way I watch. That's the way I listen to him because it's like, oh, what are we talking about again? Because sometimes I got a lot of songs in my head. Sometimes I
yeah.
kind of forget, especially for stuff that I'm not that familiar with, or it's again with the breadth, not necessarily depth. Yes, I've heard this song, but I haven't heard it in 25 years. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
You
So
you you
sometimes
may
even
you,
I have to update.
you may have to listen to the song and then listen to Zig. I was able to do both at the same time. I was keeping up with him and I was listening to the song, but that was really, really cool. I'm glad I did that.
Mhm.
I highly recommend our listeners do that now, especially this episode. So great, great stuff. I really, really appreciate that. Um, with that, we'll step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Medium, CBS News, People, the Colorado Sun, and Nine News Colorado. What are you doing?
Trying to make the break single. I gotta pee.
Oh, well, so just say you got to take a break. We've done it on the show before.
I gotta take a break, man. I need to go drain the main vein.
So, give a chance for our listeners to take a break, take a break, pause it. We're going to switch gears. I'm honestly just talking to see if he will pee on himself. So I'm going to keep going as I talk. I'm not going to give him a break, and I think he's going to go anyway. So yeah, we'll take a little break, come back, and we'll get over to the murder side of the house. Yeah, for our listeners, I mean that's only like a little second pause, so they don't even notice anything. And besides, at that point, if we have to say, hey, we got to pause for a little bio break, it just makes us human because we're just voices on the air, or you're watching us on YouTube. But anyway,
Yes.
so today I'm going to be talking about the murder of Dylan Redwine.
Dylan Redwine.
So, what was supposed to just be another holiday visit, a 13-year-old boy reluctantly spending Thanksgiving break with his estranged father. For Dylan Redwine, that visit turned into something far more sinister and one that ended in his murder. 13 years old. On November 18th, 2012, Dylan arrived in Vallecito, Colorado for a court-ordered visit with his father, Mark Redwine. Just a day later, he was gone, and for months, his family searched for answers. Then in 2013, his partial remains were found deep in the woods. This heartbreaking discovery confirmed what many had feared. Dylan hadn't just run away, he'd been killed. Dylan Redwine lived with his mom, Elaine Hall, in Colorado Springs. His parents had divorced earlier that year, and it wasn't exactly a peaceful split. Actually, the tension between Dylan and his dad had only grown worse over time. Dylan didn't even want to visit Mark that Thanksgiving. He'd rather have stayed home or hung out with his friends, but a court order forced him to go. His mom dropped him off at the airport, watching as her son, who had little excitement for the trip, boarded his flight, and that would be the last time she'd ever see him alive. Mark picked Dylan up from the Durango airport later that evening. Dylan immediately started texting his friends, making plans to meet up the next morning. But after 9:30 p.m., the text suddenly stopped, and from that moment on, no one ever heard from Dylan again. By the next day, Dylan's friends were very confused. He wasn't responding to texts, and he never showed up to meet them. And they said that this was not like him. As the hours passed, concern turned into fear. Elaine, back in Colorado Springs, started to panic. She reached out to Mark asking where Dylan was, and Mark gave a bizarre story saying he had left early that morning to run errands and came home to find Dylan gone. He figured Dylan had just wandered off to see his friends, but as the day went on and there was still no sign of Dylan, it became clear that something was very, very wrong. Elaine then reported Dylan missing, and just like that, a desperate search began. Law enforcement, search teams, volunteers, everyone actually was looking for the missing 13-year-old. The FBI even got involved, treating the case as suspicious from the start. And then there was Mark Redwine. While Dylan's mom and older brother Corey were frantically searching and pleading for answers, Mark seemed detached, really. He didn't show much emotion. He refused to take a polygraph test. We've said it before. Polygraph tests really aren't that reliable anyway. So most lawyers worth their salt will tell you don't take the polygraph test. They're not admissible in court anyway. So moving on. But his version of the event kept changing. The more he spoke, the more things didn't add up. And for months, there were no answers. Then in June of 2013, which was 7 months after Dylan disappeared, hikers found something chilling in the woods about 8 miles from Mark's house, Dylan's remains. Scattered across the rugged terrain, investigators found bones, a shoe, clothing, and a tattered backpack. But the most disturbing discovery came later, which was Dylan's skull, which showed clear signs of blunt force trauma. He hadn't just died, he'd been brutally attacked. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a very disturbing truth. Dylan and his dad had a rocky relationship, to say the least. Just before his death, Dylan had discovered something that made him completely disgusted with Mark. He found graphic, deeply disturbing photos of his father engaging in obscene acts. These weren't just embarrassing pictures, they were horrifying. The images showed Mark Redwine dressed in women's lingerie, wearing a diaper, and engaging in disturbing acts involving human feces. Um, he didn't want to visit his father, and the theory soon emerged that Dylan may have confronted Mark about the photos that night. Dylan's older brother Corey told People in 2017 he believes the graphic photos of the boys allegedly found of their dad may have motivated the crime, and said Dylan planned to confront his father about them. The brothers had found the alleged photos on the father's laptop during a bonding road trip the boys had taken with their dad. It, and it begs the question, did that confrontation with his father turn violent, and did Mark snap in a fit of rage? Investigators certainly thought so. They also found traces of Dylan's blood in Mark's house, on the couch, in the laundry room, even on his clothes. And cadaver dogs picked up the scent of human remains in Mark's home and truck. So, with this, it was becoming impossible to ignore the truth. The evidence was stacking up against Mark Redwine. It ended up taking years, way too long, but in 2017, a grand jury finally indicted Mark Redwine for Dylan's murder. He was arrested in Washington and extradited back to Colorado. When his trial finally began in 2021, prosecutors laid out the horrific details. Experts testified that Dylan's skull had fractures consistent with being hit by a blunt object. Fred Johnson, special deputy district attorney, suggested that on the night he was killed, Dylan may have mentioned or shown his father compromising photographs of Mark dressed in women's underwear and eating feces from a diaper. Um, Sorry, pause, move on. Okay,
Not to
here
kink
we go.
shame, but oof.
No, yeah, yeah. I do not mean to kink shame anybody, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That that's just a step too far for me. I'm sorry.
The eating feces. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, dress up like something. Eh, each his own. But
yeah,
poop. Ooh.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
please
Any of
continue.
you listeners, if this is your kink, I'm not shaming you.
No,
You be you, but
that's right. Enjoy, baby.
just no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Anyway. Johnson said, quote, a damaged relationship, exposed compromising photographs in the hands of a 13-year-old boy who is disgusted by it, which triggered a violent rage in the defendant. Corey had testified that the accidental discovery of the photos ruined Dylan's relationship and image of his father. Mark's public defender, John Moran, argued that text messages show Dylan had previously confronted his father about the photographs during a cross-country trip without suffering any harm. Moran said the photographs, quote, come from deep within Mark's private life, and that the prosecution wouldn't be able to prove a connection between his son's death and the photographs. Moran said during his opening statements that Dylan ran away from home and suggested he could have been attacked by a bear or a mountain lion, referencing the skull injury as a tooth mark on Dylan's skull. But then came the forensic evidence, the blood found in Mark's home, the dogs detecting human remains, Mark's inconsistent stories. The jury just didn't buy his defense. In July of 2021, Mark Redwine was found guilty of second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. In October of that year, he was sentenced to 48 years in prison. After the judge's decision, Mark continued to maintain his innocence, calling the sentence, quote, fake justice. Judge Jeffrey Wilson told Mark before handing down the sentence, quote, as a father, it's your obligation to protect your son and keep him from harm. And instead of that, you inflicted enough injury on him to kill him in your living room. After the passion of whatever caused you to act the way you did subsided, you didn't think about Dylan. You thought about yourself. You sanitized the crime scene. You hid Dylan's body, and you went as far as to remove the head from the rest of the body. After all this time and listening to what was heard in the courtroom, you still take absolutely no responsibility for what you did to Dylan. I have trouble remembering a convicted criminal defendant that has shown such a lack of remorse for his criminal behavior. Corey said at the sentencing, quote, what could I have done differently to keep Dylan from the evils of Mark? I think about our differences and how I also could have been in the same position as Dylan. While my kids will never meet Dylan or their real grandfather, I often think of what I could have done differently as the older brother who was also raised in fear. But I can't change the hate in Mark's heart, and I can't blame myself for his mistakes. I can only learn from them. Dylan is my hero. He became more of a man in 13 years than Mark has in 60. I'm so proud of Dylan for what he stood for. I'm sorry for the beautiful woman who will never share his love and the people who will never share his common love for all. It inspires me that Dylan's actions over the course of his life are what will be remembered and not Mark's words or his lies. Dylan's name will run through our family forever. I think both those statements are profound
Yes.
from the judge and from Corey. I think they are absolutely profound. For Elaine, the verdict has brought some closure, but no amount of justice could bring her son back. Dylan had just been 13 years old, a kid with a full life ahead of him, taken in the worst way possible. Since his death, Elaine has become an advocate for child safety, sharing Dylan's story to help protect other children from abusive situations. She's spoken about the importance of listening to children when they express discomfort about a parent or guardian, something Dylan had done before that fateful trip. Um, his story is heartbreaking, and it's a chilling reminder how violence can lurk in the most unexpected places, even with a family. But through it all, one thing remains true: Dylan Redwine's loved ones will never stop honoring his memory. His life was cut tragically short, but his story continues to be a beacon of awareness and justice for others. Um, those of you that are our patrons have already heard exclusive 27 as I talked about this, and I've talked about this in the past too. I'm not going to go into details here. This is a little too open with our patrons. I was willing to be a little bit more open. I have a very personal relationship to child abuse, some very personal emotions that are attached with it. Um, there is absolutely absolutely something you can do if you suspect child abuse. If you suspect child abuse, please call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800 for a child or 1-800-422-4453 or go to www.childhelp.org. These calls are all toll free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 and is in more than 170 languages. Do not, absolutely do not for 1 second think it is somebody else's problem and ignore the signs. Do not think for 1 second the situation will just resolve itself. That person needs your help. They probably do not know who they can talk to or whom they can trust. If you see something, say
Say
something.
something.
You might just save a life. And I'm so sorry my voice is choking up with this. I have a very personal attachment to abuse of a child. Please don't stand by. Do something about it. If you want to volunteer with these agencies, please do. Um, you can 100% save a life. You can 100% get somebody out of a situation where they don't know how to get out. They don't know the
You could help stop create a serial killer.
Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. I thought about that too as I was writing this. You could absolutely positively help serial killer because in so many cases of serial killers, time and time again, they came from abuse. They came from abusive situations. Um,
Abusive situations they could not get out of.
there's so many things you can do to help someone that is a victim of abuse, whether it's a child, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a parent, anything like that. You are helping people. Do not ignore it. Do not think it's somebody else's problem. Please tell somebody. Sorry I choked up. I'm stepping off my soapbox as I tend to do when we talk about abuse situations. But that's the story of the murder of Dylan Redwine.
Thank you, sir. That was a really great story. Uh, we- uh, glad he found justice.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, that will take us to the end of another recording week. As always, you can find more about us on nerdymurder.com. That's our hub. That's everything about us. Pictures from this episode, links to the items we talk about. Plus, you'll find a link to our YouTube page, which takes so often update.
Yeah, and as I said before, when we do these music lists, the best way to listen to it is go to the playlist, go down to the bottom, listen to the episode, pause when we get to the song, listen to it. When you go back and unpause it, you'll be within like 10 seconds of where you left off.
Absolutely.
It's usually 10 seconds before where you pause it. It
Absolutely
gives you a
appreciate
couple
all the
seconds.
work you do on that.
Thanks, sir.
And as I've mentioned before, do not think that I am offended in any way, shape, or form if you listen to Zig's side, but you cannot listen to mine because mine gets really, really fucking dark sometimes. Um, we appreciate all of you out there, no matter if you listen to the whole show, you listen to part of the show, anything like that.
Yeah, same. If you just want to listen to some weird true crimes, you go right ahead and listen to those bad boys. It will not offend me in the least.
Yeah. No, we've always, and not just we. I get told this all the time, and I'm sure Zig has too. I get told all the time from people, that's a very interesting mix you have there. That nobody really thought of doing this whole light side, dark side.
At one point we were kind of worried it wasn't working, but people are like, that's really works
Yeah,
strangely enough. Like Robert Smith's voice.
yeah, yeah. Um, You can also find the link to our merchandise page. If you wish to show off your nerdy and murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something for that. The funds that come from that, along with our Patreons, our patrons, help donate to the costs that are associated with the show. Again, along with the merchandise that helps keeps us on the air. It does cost to keep us on the air for our uploads, for our storage, and everything that's associated with this. So we do appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. You can also leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It really helps us and helps others find our content that may be looking for the items we discuss. The algorithms on the internet are extremely smart. And so the more you review us, leave comments, leave 5-star reviews, that really helps increase us in the algorithms for other people to find us. So it is completely free for you. Only takes a minute of your time. You can do that on Apple, on Spotify, I believe on Audible, on YouTube, everything like that. The more you rate, the more people will find us. So thank you. And last, but certainly not least, my good friend Chuck, who's now a grandfather. You go to sleep now.
Good night, Chuck.
Good night, Chuck. With that,
I have been Zig with your nerdery.
and I'm Jeff here with your murdering.
Cue the music.